Okay, so on Thursday, I kept you a little later, right? Because I really wanted to make sure this one we covered this shape right here before we left for the long weekend, right? And so I wanted to just go over this uh, one more time, just recap what we did. I will then work through this question, okay? And then I'm gonna get you to work through the other worksheets that I've provided. There's one worksheet that I don't have a paper copy. I never gave you a paper copy of, and I realized that I never ordered that one. So I'm gonna give you a PDF though and print it so that you will do it on loose leaf when you come in. You just staple it onto that paper copy when you come in later this week. Okay, so this group you probably will get it next week sometime. I just found it, so I apologize for that. Anyways, I wanted to start by saying that whenever you see triangles, right, you know that the sum of their angles would be 180. Okay, so you should see triangles, right? And you should see vertically opposite angles. Those are always true. It doesn't matter if it's this unit, if it doesn't matter if lines are parallel or not. These two properties are always true, and you can use them to your advantage. Okay, so I used that to help me out quite a bit here. So I started with angle C, which is right here. And this one was the most difficult one to get me started, right? You have to first realize that these are your parallel lines. You have to almost erase this in your head, right? Don't worry about that. You can't do two transversals at a time. You can only follow one of them at a time. And so essentially what we did is you should see that, right? Right, if the 53 is here, then the 53 is over here as well, right? Because they're alternate interiors, so these parallel lines are connected by the transversal. So that was our first jump, right? Very important. And from there, we used the combinations of triangles, right? Look at how many sum of 180s there are. Vertically opposite, straight angles, like all of these here, followed by just you realizing this fact. You needed that alternate interior, which is only there if there are parallel lines, right? That was our starting point, and then everything else I used sum of 180, vertically opposite, or straight lines, right? So that's an important point to remember. All right, so we're gonna try parallelograms here. Okay, and parallelograms are, the name says it all, right? There's a bunch of parallel lines happening here. So you have, I got new highlighters here, okay? So you have this line, right, parallel to that line. And you've got this line parallel to that line. Let me see. Okay. Sorry, Pearl, I forgot to do the link this morning. So what does this mean? Well, this is kind of like a double question, right? Like you have these, you're used to always having one pair of parallel sides. All of a sudden you have two pairs. So that's unique to a parallelogram. It allows you to not only jump this way, but you can also jump this way, right? So that is something to keep in mind. So how do you want to start? You can start wherever you want and start filling in unknowns, right? So the C, I see vertically opposite angles here. It's the easiest one to do, so I'll do this one first. 97 degrees, vertically opposite, right? So you can actually fill this in if you'd like. Now you have a straight line here, so these two add up to 180. You also have a straight line here. These two add up to 180, and you know that these two are going to be the same, right? So I'm going to do B next, okay? I'm going to go 180 minus 97, okay? And that's 83. And then you just say straight line, right? So we can actually go ahead and fill this out, 83. Maybe that's helpful to actually fill this in the diagram. G is the same as B. So whereas G is right here. So that's the third angle I'm finding, which is 83. Okay. And always ask yourself, does it make sense? And it does, right? These are vertically opposite. These are vertically opposite. They should be equal to each other. If you do your math, you should always double check. Don't just trust it blindly. Okay. What else can I see now? I'm going to look. I'm going to take this triangle here because there's a bunch of triangles. And you know that the sum of the angles in this one should be 180, right? So here, I will do the work here and I allow you to do that. 180 minus 97 minus 30, right? You're going to subtract these two from 180 to get H. Okay, so this would be 127, so it's 53. Okay, we're going to go over here and write down 53, and that's the fourth angle we did. And there's the work. Sometimes the work fits in here, sometimes it doesn't. There you go. G, what was our used vertically opposite? Or you could have used straight line. It's up to you. Okay. So we've got this taken care of. We can do A, also sum of a triangle. Okay. A is going to be our fifth angle that we're solving for. It's very helpful if you do that. Okay. We can use sum of a triangle. So we're going to go 180. How about we do A over here on this side? A is 180 minus 35 minus 83. Okay, so that's 8, 118. So it's 62, right? So we put down 62 here. Sum of triangles equal to 180. D is, or which one do you want to do next? That's up to you. But for D, you have too many unknowns, right? You don't know this. The only angle you know in this triangle is this here. So we're going to leave that for now. Move over to here. Also too many unknowns here. So now it's getting a bit tougher. So you're kind of running, you can't use sum of 180, right? You're stuck there. Nothing else that you can really do with those two, sum of triangle and vertically opposite, only got you so far. So now you need to switch gears. Now you need to say, okay, what do I know? I'm going to focus on the green, and I notice that there's a transversal connecting the two, and just focus on the Z that you're forming. You see that? What do we call 35 and F? Now you're doing what I call the jump, like you're literally jumping from this parallel line to that one. What do we call those two? They're inside, alternate interior. So now you can just say F, which is, where's F? That's the sixth angle that I'm doing, is 35, alternate interior. That's all I need. I don't need I don't need a long sentence or anything like that. So you come in here and write 35 in, so you know that one is no. This one is not required of us, so we're not going to worry about it. We need E and we need D as well still. Now you kind of look at the parallel lines that are highlighted here. I would strongly recommend you do that. Is there a way, like these two are connected by this transversal, and you make a Z again, right? And these are alternate interior again. So that's our 7th angle. On a test, it will never be this crazy. I will never ask you this many angles. It'll probably be like 4 angles, but you need to know how to get there. Right, so this is 30, alternate interior as well. So you put that down, 30.
You could have done the same thing with E. Yeah, because H would be equal to E.
Right, exactly. So E is our last one, last but not least, right? Yes, this angle and this angle, right? If you look at this parallel line connected by the transversal, there's a Z there. So E and H are also the same, so you can just say 53, alternate interior. However, let's say you don't see that. You're like, wait a minute, I have a triangle here. I can go 180 minus 97 minus 30 and get E that way. You don't have to use alternate interior in this case, right? The more you know, the more options you have. Okay? All right, so that's this one, which you're gonna have practice with later on. It's a bit busy here, I get it. There's 2 transversals here, and it makes it a bit more complicated. Okay, but that's part of this unit, right? Being able to see that, being able to zoom out, zoom back in, see the triangles vertically opposite, and see those 4, right? Alternate interior, exterior, corresponding, and consecutive interior. Okay. Okay, so that's that for this handout. Now I would like you to take out let me see, I think I assigned this for homework. This one right here, which is going to come back, by the way. So make sure you have this written down. I think I was slow enough for you to follow. This handout right here, I assigned that last Thursday. So find it, please. So we're going to do a couple here. All right. Find all missing angles. So I'm not going to necessarily justify them all, okay? Not always. But I will still walk you through it out loud. How do I do these? Okay, so you need to become, so if I just ask you to fill in and find the missing angles, you don't have to explain how you got there. Before I do this, okay, I need you to look at your screens. Okay, I'm gonna share a screen with you. I use GeoGebra for that. Oh yeah, there it is. So just look at your screens once, and it will show up in a bit. Okay, I just have to bring it over here. Make that happen. I'm going to stop presenting my document camera and share. this screen with you. Now, I just need a couple of you to tell me, do you see GeoGebra with the two parallel lines?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you see my mouse going over it as well? Like when I just,
Yes.
you can see the, okay, good. All right, so let me see if I can just move this a bit. There you go. So here you have, I constructed this earlier, right? But you have two lines that appear to be parallel. We don't know, right? And let's say a question were to ask you, you know, are these lines in fact parallel? Well, if you're not given any angles, you would have to measure the angles, physically measure them. And that's what I did. So let me just show hide labels here. Let's just show this angle right here. I see that this angle and this angle right here, they correspond. So let me see. This one is 71.7. That one is 66.2. Our conclusion would have to be that these two are not parallel. These two lines are not parallel at all. Let me just pause my recording, otherwise class time to do some work on the other. And I don't think I posted the answer key to this, did I? I hope you tried this, but the answer key I don't think was up yet, so I'm gonna post it later today. Anyways, so where do you want to start? I like vertically opposite, so this would be 50 here. They don't ask for this, so I won't worry. This here, if they're asking for that, which I don't think it is, they're just telling you that this point is F, okay? We're now going to just stick with X. These two are consecutive interior, given that these two are the parallel lines. So this is 130. And this is alternate interior, or you can use the straight line. It doesn't matter how you want to solve this. That's 50. So I basically went this way, then I went consecutive interior, then I went straight line, or you could have used alternate interior. It's up to you. Next, we're over here. Maybe I use a pen so that it sticks out more. How would you want to start this? Notice this. Always make a note of your parallel lines, because there's something true about between them. Okay, so first of all, this one and this one, it's hard to see when it's a triangle, right? Just almost get rid of everything else, right? Just focus on that, right? Those are corresponding angles. The 40 and the D are corresponding, okay? So you can find that this is 40, and if you want to do this, right, corresponding. You can find B quite easily by just using the straight line property, right? It's a straight angle, so this will be 140 here. I use, right, these two lines meet, so at that intersection, right, this is 140, it's vertically opposite to it. And I'm not asking you to explain yet. I might ask you later on, okay? So now what? Now we need to find A. There is no parallel line above it or anything, so you can't do that, this jump that we did here. You can't use corresponding, anything like that, but you can use the triangle. Think about the big triangle here, okay? So allow me to use the highlighter here. Right, there's a big triangle here, of which you know two angles, right? So you can now easily, right, even in your head, 110 and 40 is 150, so this is 30. Right, that sum of triangles equal to 180, which is always true if it's a triangle. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah, this is a unit that a lot of students struggle with. That's why you might think if you get it, why is my camera pointing up? Oh, there. It was pointing up in the ceiling. Like, what's going on? Next, okay, let's go back. The easy part of filling in numbers, that's easy. Easier. But when I ask you to explain, that's when the train usually starts falling apart, okay? So I need to make sure you know how to explain how you got there, okay? Okay, next. Let's do this one because this one is it's really busy right here. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to identify my parallel lines. Okay, I identified that. Okay, so I can do the jump between these two lines and that's it. Okay. To find, I'm going to go for y first because it's fairly easy to do along a straight line. Okay, it's right along the straight line here. Then I'm going to jump this way using this transversal right here. Right, these two are consecutive interior. Okay, so this is 110 because they're supposed to add up to 180. And somebody else is probably thinking right now, well, aren't these two alternate interior as well? Yes. You just have to know, what am I going to do? Okay. And now here comes one of the harder ones. Okay. You got to be prepared for this. There's this 30 out here. Follow the transversal. But Mr. Dirksen, you called this a transversal. Yes, this is the other one. Between this parallel line and that parallel line, let's see what happens. You follow it. Okay. And this one right here is out here. Right? This 30 and this 30 go together, and this would be alternate exterior. Okay. Now, I don't know if you see this, but along this straight line here, there are three angles along this straight line here. You've got this one, you've got this sliver here, and you've got the third one. So this is the property of a straight angle as well. Okay, so Z be 180 minus 110 minus 30. So Z is 40. Straight angle. Okay, so you've got 40 there. And what's W going to be? Is W anything to 30? Well, if you think about it, this is your transversal that you're looking at. So sometimes you just got to copy it and see, right? If I have this transversal and this line right here and another one right here, then this and this would be corresponding, right? So that's 30 here. Corresponding. So these two you got out of that, okay? So slowly you got it all. Could you have used vertically opposite with this one and this one? Yes. You could have done that as well. Okay. So this is very busy here at this intersection. And it will be challenging for sure. I'll do one more and then I'll let you go. I'll let you do your homework. Okay. So here we have parallel lines again. Very important. So I can jump this way. I have a feeling that something is missing on that one. I'm trying to remember if I forgot to tell you. Yes, I completely did. This line is parallel to this line right here. So if you were scratching your head over how to do this, that's why. Okay, my bad. Okay, I will do the first one here, and this is tricky to see, but you have to almost ignore this line right here. But this angle right here and this angle right here would be corresponding. The whole thing here corresponds to the 60 up there. So what do we know? Well, we know that this whole thing is supposed to be 60, and we know that this is 25 out here. So we're going to find W, right, simply by going 60, which is supposed to be the whole thing, minus 25, right? And we're going to get 35 in there. So we found W by using the fact that if these two are parallel lines, and I'm focusing on this transversal here, then this corresponds to that. And I can't say that W is 60, right? Because W is only representing this little sliver. So you have to take the 25 away from 60 to get W, and then you have that. Okay, now these are also parallel lines. So you can use that to jump this way as well, sideways. So this one comes over here as 25. Right, this one comes over here as 25, and this one comes over here as 35. Now you have 2 out of the 3 along this straight line. So x will just be 180 minus 25 minus 35, which adds up to 60, right? So x is equal to 120. And there you have it. Oops, my bad. Cut it off a bit. Okay, so this goes on for quite, there's quite a number of diagrams that I've provided you with. And so you have a choice, okay? Do you want to go through this and do like your rough copy of how you found everything? Or you can jump immediately to the other handout that I'm going to point you to that is asking you to come up with the reasoning. Okay, I would actually say, well, technically this is supposed to be done already, and I'll post the answer key of this in a bit. Okay, but now I need you to grab this one here. Go find the mystery angles worksheet and work through that. That's what you're doing for the rest of today's class and for homework, okay? And I will actually, this one right here, if you don't have it at home, I will post it as well. Mystery angles, it's called. There's another one. Because I just, yeah, it looks like what's on your screens right now. Okay, let me know if you need a PDF. I can post it, but I'm not gonna do it right now because all of you should have this actually. If you don't, let me know. So you work on this, and let me just draw your attention to the bottom. It starts like when the chart starts. That's where you don't have to do it in the order that I provided in. You just put a little number as to which one you're doing first, which one you're doing second, third, and fourth, and so on. So you're supposed to give me the angle value and also the reasoning. So the reasoning could be the actual math that you're doing, coupled or also together with the explanation as to is it corresponding, is it alternate interior, is it sum of triangle, whatever. That's happening in the reasoning section here. If you need to do some work outside, that's completely fine. Just be clear as to which one you're solving for. And yes, you will recognize that they look very much like the ones you've just done and we've just worked through. But this is a bit more formal, okay? Walking through the steps. So this one I will post the answer key to because it's basically the same as this one here. And I don't want to have too many out there, okay? So work on this. And look at the answer key later on, okay? If you're joining from home, you can log off at this point unless you have any questions. Thank you. Have a good day. If you're here, you can work on this until the bell goes. Got 12 minutes. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
For the marks in the test, it says 29, but I counted the marks, it says 26.5. Is there like a missing page? Or